Hello and welcome to the quarterback decision making online course. Most of us were not taught how to coach quarterback decision making. So we created a program to help coaches install a simple, repeatable process that will immediately supercharge their quarterback's decision making and light up that scoreboard. So after completing this course, you will have created a clear, repeatable process that your quarterback will step through on every single play. We will have guided you through the ability to clearly identify and choose truly relevant pre-snap keys and cutting out anything that isn't necessary. We're going to guide you through locking your quarterbacks into a repeatable post-snap progression so they're making the right decision every single time. And all of these things will give you very concise talking points that you and your quarterback can address in the heat of the battle because we've streamlined the process to a few key points. And now with this proprietary new player book technology and help ensure everyone has the ability to master their quarterback room, because now you'll be able to go to practice and work this new process, then send this process home in your players' pockets with them where they can rep it out on their own time. So by the time you get to game day, your quarterbacks are working off muscle memory and lighting up that scoreboard. My name is Matt Lasker. We're here today to talk about the pre-snap process, what it is, how it has evolved over the years, how we can make sure that we are picking the right pre-snap keys, and more importantly, not too many to overwhelm our players during the game. And we'll talk about our process that locks our kids into their first read and gets them thinking about that process even before the snap. So again, post-snap, they're making decisions faster, which is the entire point of these conversations we're having anyway. Sounds pretty straightforward, but essentially it's that time the quarterback is coming to the line of scrimmage, but they have a moment in time where they can look at the defense. And if they're coached properly, they can gather the right information that can help them make decisions faster post-snap. That's the gist of it. There's a lot of different pre-snap keys that people value across the country. Is the cornerback hard or soft? If he's 4 yards or closer, that's hard. If he's 4 yards or deeper, that cornerback is soft, and we're going to play a certain way. How many safeties are there? Is there one safety or two safeties high? Is the middle of the field open or closed? To me, that was the same thing. I've learned pretty quickly here at the higher levels that is not the same question. So that's another pre-snap question a lot of coaches value. Are there any overhang defenders, right? Linebackers or overhang defenders outside the box, creeped up, maybe a little closer to the line of scrimmage? Are there any threats to blitz, whether it's inside linebackers or again outside linebackers? Defensive line alignment, that's a pre-snap key. A lot of running coaches value because they will literally change the running play in accordance to the defensive technique some D lineman it might be in. And then the last one, of course, everyone wants their quarterbacks to know this is what coverage is it, right? They want them to be a professor in coverage, which makes sense, right? Because if they know the certain coverage and what those players do at the positions in certain coverages, that should help them make a decision quicker in real time. And so it's very different from coach to coach. Some coaches don't want to use any pre-snap keys with their quarterbacks. They just want to line them up and just say, hey, go run my play and do it and just run it the way we asked. Some coaches have 6 pre-snap keys. I've talked to some coaches with 10 pre-snap keys, and some coaches have 1. So it's all over the map. I'm not here to tell you one way or is better than the other, but what I can tell you is what we found over the last 5 or 6 years, talking to high school coaches, talking to middle school coaches, and even talking to some really awesome college coaches that have shared their time with us. I can share with you best practices from all those levels, and then how we have streamlined that process to make it work no matter what the level is of the kid, because it's all about making sure your quarterback understands pre-snap and making quick decision post-snap. And that's what it's all about, regardless how you get there. And so my process has evolved over the years. I had my quarterbacks come up to the line of scrimmage. I had them look at the left cornerback first and tell me if that cornerback was hard or soft. Then they would look through the defense over the top from left to right and see how many safeties there were and if it was open or closed. And then I'd have him look at the other cornerback and if he was hard or soft. And then I'd have him come through the linebacker level and see if there was any overhang defenders and if they were creeping up the line of scrimmage. And then the middle linebackers, if they were potential blitzers. And then I'd somehow have them look at the D line as well. And so there's all this information going on. And they'd have to end that before every snap in practice telling me what coverage it was or what coverage they thought it was. Which to me, I thought I was genius. I'm giving them all this information and all this education. How could this go wrong? But over the years, I found that it was really overloading their brains. And there is such a thing as too much information especially when you're at a position where you need to play fast and play quickly. And so I wanted to pare it down and cut that list from 6 to 3. In my mind, that was fair. They'd go through cornerback, hard or soft, how many safeties, and what defense is it likely. Just getting them with their minds in the right place before the snap. Really been taken to school by some really high level coaches at the high school level and a couple junior college coaches. And they have convinced me that there is one pre snap key to rule them all. It encompasses all those things we just talked about. It gets their brain locked in to the first read, which also gets them thinking about their second, all based on the specific defender that they need to worry about. Do they need to worry about all those other things? I'm convinced at this point that the answer is no. And the pre-snap key to rule them all is your first read open by alignment? Is your first read open by alignment? I'm going to pause there because we're going to come back to that in a second. Regardless of what you choose to move forward with, I just want to show you that in the system that you're a part of now, with the player book system, when you're making engaging quarterback lesson plans, one of the pieces of that lesson plan is the pre-snap keys, and they will pop up. The ones that you select will pop up before every virtual rep they take. So again, this system is not meant to be a replication of the real world in reality. Not even VR does that. Actually, VR is just video games strapped to your face. So the world, it hasn't evolved yet to the point where VR is really worth it. That's why we made this for the phone, because it's the same thing, except you don't have to wear a computer on your face. And every kid has a phone. Not every kid has VR. So before every virtual rep, the pre-snap keys that you value the most will pop up and automatically test them in the game. Okay. So again, it's your personal choice what you decide to have your quarterbacks thinking about before every rep. I'm going to show you right now how the first read open by alignment works, and that's our recommendation. But regardless, let's just keep in mind fewer is better. I didn't think that one was going to be possible for me, but this really has worked for me. And it works for some of the highest scoring offenses in the country. So number one, do not have more than 2 pre-snap keys. I'm just telling you, if you have to have more than one, try your hardest to get it down to as few as possible. And then lastly, however you move forward with these pre-snap keys, and we're going to show you how to do this, you need to create a systematic process that your quarterback goes through at practice every single time. And then on our player book mobile app every single time. And then so when he gets to the game, he just does it in his brain every single time. Okay, so what I'm showing you on your screen on our current process with our quarterbacks on our tackle and competitive 7-on-7 teams of what they do when they step to the line of scrimmage. This is what I would suggest for everybody. It is also part of the youth passing system that comes with this quarterback decision-making training. Okay, so you could easily just plug this in, and we already have this built out, so you don't have to do any work. It's already built out with videos and learning everything for you and your quarterback. And so this is the process that we have built in already to the game, so your kids can rep it out. And these things are kind of built in, so they are going through the process over and over and over. So here it goes. When they come to line of scrimmage, all they do is 2 things. Number one, are there any gifts backside? And again, that's part of the youth passing system. That's a philosophy of ours. We want to take as many free yards as the defense is going to give us. There really is free yards at every single game, and a lot of them, but it also adds up through the whole season. And your passing yardage just goes through the roof. And by the way, when these gifts are taken, it's usually one-on-one with one of your best athletes, a receiver, with one of their worst athletes, a cornerback. And if you are below high school, you all know that's where that and D-line is where they hide players that may not be your best players on defense. And so they ask that, are there any gifts backside? And then number 2 is your first read open by alignment, okay? And so as you can see here, the quarterback identifies the player that will be in the grass that we're trying to throw our first read to. If there's someone there, then the answer is no. And if there's someone isn't there, the answer is yes. It's as simple as that. I'll show you how it works in a second. But essentially, him asking himself, is my first read open by alignment? Has him looking at the defense, the defensive player, where his first read is trying to run, has him thinking through that, and also making sure that he is ready to move on to his second read because he's already considering if his first is going to work. So again, we are just trying to put their mind in a place where we are engaging, stepping them through this process every single time, So it's clockwork and there's no confusion throughout the actual game. When it gets crazy, we want their brains to be, we're operating calm state. So the first thing I'm going to just show quickly, this is not what this is about. Are there any pre-snap gifts backside? Again, watch the youth passing system module in a few videos to really dive deep into this. But basically what we're looking at is if the defenders are on the backside or 7 yards or more back, we're just going to stop. Even though we've called this play, we're going to snap the ball and just get the ball out to this guy one-on-one with the defender 7 yards back. And if he's closer than that, then we're going to just run our concept. It's as simple as that. Okay. So we'll get into that more later, but really is our first read open by alignment. That's where I want to spend just a little bit of time, because you can see, as I talked to you guys about in a previous video, our 3 core plays are all attacking the same 3 pieces of grass on a single side of the field every single time. And the first read is attacking this deep third piece of grass. So is your first read open by alignment? Really is this deep third open by alignment? Is there a cornerback sitting back here before the snap of the ball? And that gets the quarterback thinking that, and then gets him thinking, if there is a cornerback there, then what am I doing with my second read? Okay. So as you can see, is my first read open by alignment. We are running fade out, which is another form of stick. And our first read, I put a little number 1 here so you could see it, is this go route into this deep third. Since this cornerback already 7, 8, maybe 9 yards back pre-snap, we are going to say no. The first read is not open by alignment because that is where we are looking to throw. Okay. Now, do I need him to know that there's a 1 high safety? Do I need him to know that that there's 2 overhang defenders? Do I need him to know defensive line alignment? We don't. We just need him to know where this cornerback is lining up. Now, after he snaps the ball, we are still going to look at this corner. So if he slams down, okay, great. Now I'm going to throw that ball because now he's vacating this open grass back. Now, if he stays in place at the snap of the ball or starts to back up, all right, now we know that he is staying in that deep third, and our mind was already ready to move on to this man conflict defender read to make him wrong between these 2 guys, but his mind's already switched on to those 2 process moves. Okay, one more example. We're just going to use corner because it's a little different. Our first read is the Y in corner. It's the deep third read, and in this situation, the Y who's running the corner route is that first deep third read. So is he open by alignment? This cornerback is deep, about 8 yards deep. So no, he is not open by alignment. Okay, so then the quarterback knows to move on to his next read very quickly if at the snap of the ball this cornerback stays. But again, if he drops down at the snap of the ball, we're letting that ball go nice and easy. It's that simple. Okay, and again, in our youth passing module that's coming in just a few videos, we're going to dive deep into all these things. But I just want to give you a flavor of why that one pre-snap key can do everything you need to get that quarterback's mind right, locked in to making the right read, picking the right player through his progression. And as you start thinking about what pre-snap keys you value, and you do need to define them to yourself before you can define them to your players, take into those things into account. Okay, number 1, have as few of them as possible, few pre-snap keys as possible. If you don't have an opinion and don't care one way or another, just plug and play the youth passing system. You can run any run plays you want with it. Most of us grew up learning run plays only. I ran the wing T my entire life in the 90s as I was in high school. So trust me, I get it. All you have to do is plug and play this offense. We will make sure that your athletes are repping it out on the field. We are making sure that they'll take that process from practice to our player book platform. So they're doing it on their phones virtually all week long. And then again, so by the time we get to the game, it's locked in and it's just muscle memory at that. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining on this one. Excited that you're here. Stuff's getting fun now. This is the part that I love. So we're going to keep going deeper and deeper with the pre-snap process. And eventually we're going to have you get this in front of your players and have this streamlined. So when the next season hits, you guys will be ready to win games, score points, and bring those championships home like we all want. All right. Thanks again, coaches. We'll see you on the next one.